Welcome back to the 2 Minute Warning. Today I'm going to be giving my 3 bold predictions of the Los Angeles Chargers in 2021. But before getting to that topic, just a simple question for those of you viewing. What do you think the Chargers record will be in the upcoming season? You think they'll be above 500, below 500? You think they'll make the playoffs? Whatever it is, comment down below. But getting straight into the topic, just an honorable mention, bold prediction. I got 3 real ones, but an honorable mention one is that the Chargers are going to make the playoffs. At this point, I feel like that's not bold anymore, but there's still some risk to it. But I do think this Chargers team is going to do it. Justin Herbert having a second year, brand new coach, hopefully a healthy defense, Derwin James, Joey Bosa, the main guys, some emerging rookies, better O-line, Rashawn Slater. Like I said, the rookie Asante Samuel Jr. on defense. I think this Chargers team is well-rounded enough to make a playoff run. But getting into the real bold predictions, number 1 on this list has to revolve around the brand new head coach, and that is me predicting Brandon Staley is going to win Coach of the Year. I know that may seem bold to others, it may not seem bold at all to some other people. In the Vegas odds, Brandon Staley is one of the more favored coaches to win Coach of the Year. But to me, to actually pick and say and bet that I think he will win, I think that has some boldness to it. But I do think he's set up to have, a good shot at winning it. We see some brand new coaches on brand new teams be more likely to win Coach of the Year than others. Kevin Stefanski, first year with the Browns this past year, he went out and won Coach of the Year. Sean McVay did it with the Rams. It's a thing that happens over and over again. I'm not saying, veteran coaches, well-known coaches don't win it. I think John Harbaugh just won it the year before Kevin Stefanski, but I'm just saying I think Brandon Staley, how history has shown that brand new first start head coaches can do it, is kind of a bonus to him. And he's going to a team, he's not going to the New York Jets or Detroit Lions or Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's teams that are, they might be able to turn things around in a couple of years, but as of right now in 2021, none of those teams are close to being a playoff team. The Chargers, this is a ready team, and that is a big benefit to Brandon Staley. And he's coming off of being a defensive coordinator that led the Rams defense to the number 1 defense in the NFL. There's some credit to the roster on that Rams defense, but he's still got the absolute most out of them, and I think he's going to do that for the Chargers team. I just think with the team he's on and with the amount of confidence and the great presence he has on this team, and the amount of talent they already have, it just needs to be organized properly. He's going to take this team to the playoffs, and I think he's going to win Coach of the Year again. And you don't need to take the Chargers to the Super Bowl in order to win Coach of the Year. Kevin Stefanski brought the Browns to the divisional round last year. Even if Brandon Staley does something around that realm, doesn't take him to the divisional round, maybe takes him to the wild card, maybe takes him to the divisional round, I don't know. But I think if Brandon Staley and this team clicks and they could get to the playoffs, I think he will win Coach of the Year. And he's got the right players to do it. Like I said, I do think the Rams roster had some credit to him leading them to the number 1 defense, but it's not like the Chargers don't have a great defense as well. Rams got Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald in the back and up front. Chargers, though, they got Joey Bosa up front and Derwin James in the back. One of the best pass rushers, one of the best safeties, and they're not alone. You got Uchenna Nwosu, you got rookie Chris Humph, you got Jerry Tillery, you got Kenneth Murray, you got Asante Samuel Jr., the rookie with Derwin James, the FSU brothers, you got Chris Harris Jr. who's going to provide some veteranship. You got Michael Davis, who's going to be a good number 2 corner. Chargers roster has the talent to help Brandon Staley get there, and the offense isn't bad either. We know how Justin Herbert is. His name's going to be in the record books for a very long time, in my opinion, when it comes to rookie records. Some are going to get beaten eventually. Some might get beaten this year because there's 17 games. But Justin Herbert, a quarterback that was at least able to get his name in the record books, that's a guy that's going to be able to help Brandon Staley win Coach of the Year. Offense, he's not alone. We know Keenan Allen's a respected receiver in the NFL, but he's still underrated. People still don't give him the credit he deserves. But even outside of him, he's not alone. Mike Williams, Josh Palmer, the rookie, maybe Julio Jones, who knows? Backfield's going to be good with Austin Eckler, Justin Jackson, Joshua Kelly, whoever you want to pick out of there. I think Austin Eckler is going to be the go-to guy in the completely rebuilt O-line with Rashawn Slater, Oday Abushi, Corey Lindsey, Brian Bulaga. We know how good that O-line we think is going to be. And I think the Chargers are going to be having a lot of success this year. I think they're going to get anywhere between, to me, 10 and 12 wins sounds like a perfect range for them this year. And Brandon Staley, like I said, if he could take this team to the playoffs, in which I think they do, he's going to win Coach of the Year. And it won't be easy. Kevin Stefanski could repeat. Sean McVay, now that he has Matt Stafford, could win Coach of the Year again. But if I had to pick, I'm not betting actually money, but if I was forced to bet, I seriously think Brandon Staley will win Coach of the Year. Just it seems like recent history shows they like to give it to coaches who are on brand new teams. Like I said, Sean McVay with the Rams, Even Matt Nagy with the Bears won it, and even, like I said, Kevin Stefanski with the Browns won it. And those guys, if you look at them, the quarterbacks they had weren't the best. Jared Goff, he's not too good, or else he wouldn't be shipped off to Detroit. Mitch Trubisky's not too great, or he wouldn't be a backup to Josh Allen right now. And I like Baker Mayfield. That's kind of an outlier. But, excuse me, I think Justin Herbert is respectively better than all three of those. So Justin Herbert's already giving Brandon Staley a head start when you're looking at that straight and narrow comparison and that kind of lens. But there's going to be a lot more to play into it. But to me, I think Brandon Staley can and will win Coach of the Year. So that is my first bold prediction. Number 2, Joey Bosa is going to have a career-high sack season. The highest amount of sacks he's ever had in a single season was 12.5 in his sophomore year. This year, I think he's going to top it for a number of reasons. A, Joey Bosa is looking for just a comeback year. Yeah, he's been Joey Bosa. We know his name, but he's still looking for a year where he's going to lead this team to one of the better defenses. He's going to be known as possibly the best edge rusher in the NFL. I think he wants that title again. And I think getting a career-high sack number on his record books is going to help him out. And for a number of reasons, like I said, one, he's going to have a 17th game, and that is in itself possibly another sack in itself, possibly another 3 sacks in itself. Anything can happen in one game, and I just think having an additional game in case Joey Bosa gets banged up and he misses a game or two, he still has 16, 15 other games to get back at it and still try and set that record. So I think that 17th game is definitely going to help him, whether it's use as rest or use as an extra game to fight for those sack numbers. And another reason, of course, relating back to the coach, Brandon Staley. He led the Rams to the number 1 defense in the NFL. I'm not saying he's going to take the Chargers there right away, but I definitely think he's going to up the Chargers defense. Joey Bosa last year felt like he was alone. Brandon Staley, I think he's going to get the most out of Joey Bosa and the other guys around him to take the pressure off him. Like I already said, you got Uchenna Nwosu, Jerry Tillery, Chris Rump, the rookie. You might see Kenneth Murray rushing, and Brandon Staley is going to figure out how he can maximize Joey Bosa. And I think in that return, with a brand new head coach, a healthy defense behind him, and a 17th game, we're going to see Joey Bosa have his career high in sacks. And 12.5 is a pretty big number already. I think 13.5, 14 would be a great fight, and it would be a great number to see Joey Bosa reach. And outside of all those players, who's to say Melvin Ingram won't come back? It's a little different team than when he played with Anthony Lynn, and kind of a different defensive style, but I'm sure Brandon Staley, being a very cerebral guy, having a great defensive mind, is going to find a spot for him somewhere. So I'm very fond of them maybe bringing him back to just take off the pressure off of Joey Bosa a little more. But outside of that, I'm not banking on it. I still think Joey Bosa is going to reach a career high in sacks, hitting the 13 mark. And that is going to be a big benchmark for him and the Chargers all around. Because if we're seeing Joey Bosa hit 13 sacks, that's a good sign that the Chargers are probably going to be a playoff team. So that is number 2, but anything is possible. Of course, this is all pending injuries, that Joey Bosa doesn't get banged up. If he misses a game or two, like I said, I still think he can fight for it and still will reach it. But if we see him only play half the season, obviously this bold prediction is just going to fall apart. Then the final bold prediction is going to be Justin Herbert hitting the 40 passing touchdown benchmark. I guess he could total it I don't want to say relatively easy, but he already totaled, I believe, 36 this year. I think he's going to throw for 40 this year. And looking at why, Justin Herbert threw for 31 last year, and that was only in 15 games. This year he's going to have 17 games. To me, conservatively, if he played 17 games on the same exact roster, you could say he'd go from 31 touchdowns in 15 games to 35 touchdowns in 17 games, and that's being conservative, giving him 2 touchdowns each extra game. But to me, the rest of the 5 touchdowns going from 35 to 40 is going to easily come just from more experience, a better head coach. And even if Brandon Staley doesn't turn out to be this coach of the year, doesn't turn out to be the next Belichick, the next Sean McVay, if he's good enough to keep his job, he's automatically already an upgrade over Anthony Lynn, a guy that couldn't keep his job. So again, I think with a brand new head coach, a brand new offense in Joe Lombardi, we're still going to have to see how that plans out. I think Justin Herbert is going to hit the 40 touchdown benchmark for a number of reasons. Like I said, the experience, the coach, the weapons are going to get better. He's going to have a better chemistry with Keenan Allen, better chemistry with Mike Williams. He's going to have more weapons than Josh Palmer, Jalen Guyton, Tyron Johnson. They're going to be merging. And like I said, you throw Julio Jones into this team, Justin Herbert could be fighting for 50 touchdowns. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but anything is possible if you throw Julio Jones on an already electric offense. I'm here for it. Justin Herbert, like I said, Joe Lombardi coming from the Saints. We saw the Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara connection out of the backfield. We're going to see Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler connection out of the backfield. And Austin Eckler is going to get a number of passing touchdowns, in my opinion, himself. I'm not saying he's going to get 10, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets anywhere from, 3 to 6 passing or receiving touchdowns from Justin Herbert. This is a team that is going to be very electric. I think Justin Herbert's going to get 40 touchdowns. He already had 31 as a rookie in only 15 games. I see no reason he can't get it as hit 40 as a sophomore with 17 games, with more experienced weapons, with more reps, with a better head coach, with a more organized team, and a better defense to rely on. No knock to the Chargers defense last year, but it wasn't managed properly and it wasn't healthy. A better defense to rely on is going to take the pressure off of Justin Herbert and allow him to make easier throws, not force him to always be behind and force him to make big plays and just trying to do absolutely everything he can to carry the team. Now that there's hopefully going to be a more managed clock, a more managed game where the Chargers are fighting for serious wins and going up against great teams that they are on par with, Justin Herbert's going to be better, this team's going to be better, and the numbers are going to get better for both sides of the football. Justin Herbert's going to hit the 40 mark. I think Joey Bosa is going to hit the 13 mark. Brandon Staley, I think, is going to win Coach of the Year, and I think this is the Chargers' year to really put themselves on the map. Super Bowl aspirations, that's a whole nother video. Is Super Bowl possible? I mean, if they get to the playoffs, you got a fighter's chance, you got a puncher's chance. Anything is possible at that point, but to me, that's a whole nother video. I'd like to see this offensive line come together first. I'd like to see these rookies pan out. You know, is Rashawn Slater seriously going to be the second best tackle in the draft? Is Asante Samuel Jr. really going to be a hidden gem corner that they stole in the second round? Is Josh Palmer really going to be a hidden gem receiver they stole in the third round? Is Chris Rumpf going to be able to take the pressure off of Joey Bosa? You know, we're going to need to see these rookies step up, not just in the rookie year to be a Super Bowl team, but we're going to have to see them have a successful draft and it to pan out over the next several years for them to become a Super Bowl team. Like I said, if they could fight their ways to the playoffs this year, they got a fighter's chance. Anything is possible, but that is a whole nother video. To me, I don't want to say confident in these bold takes because they are bold, so I don't expect every single one of them to happen, but I do think these bold predictions have some logic behind them, have some, you know, realistic numbers behind them. Justin Herbert getting an increase in 9 passing touchdowns, I don't think is impossible when he's going to have 2 extra games, better receivers, better management, better organization. Joey Bosa getting half a sack better than his career high. I don't think that's impossible when he's going to have less pressure around him, better management, just like Justin Herbert, another game to play with, just like Justin Herbert. There's real logic behind this, and I think is very possible. And Brandon Staley, Coach of the Year, you already heard my take on that. But as always, guys, I love making the Chargers videos for you. Comment down below what you think about this list. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And do you think this Chargers team is making the playoffs? And of course, relating back to the question today, what is their record going to be for 2021? Again, I had them between the 10 and 12 range, getting a wild card spot, and I like the Chargers this year. As always, guys, thanks for watching. 2-minute warning.